Hi, my name is Melissa Somm, and today I will be discussing a new software innovation for the company Wertheim Global Solutions. I currently work at the company and I am Vice President of Operations, and I am very passionate about this new innovation and I do feel that it can go long ways. I will introduce the company, talk about the technology and how it works, even show a brief demo of the product. I'll talk about competition, the economics involved, and how the implementation of the product will be handled. To begin, Wertheim Global Solutions is a software development company that writes add-on solutions for its primary vendor known as OpenText. These add-on solutions enhance document management by providing tools such as security and replication and much more. Wertheim Global has clients all over the world, which comprises mostly of law firms, government agencies, and NGOs. In many instances, organizations, especially law firms, who hire interns, face the problem of employees stealing intellectual property from their firm. Two cases are Edward Snowden and the Panama Papers that inspired the solution that Wertheim Global developed. The first Edward Snowden occurred when Edward Snowden stole documents from the NSA and released them to WikiLeaks. Panama Papers, over 11 million files from the world's fourth biggest law firm, were leaked as well. While there are firewalls and encryptions in place, there is nothing that monitors users and their activity in real time within a firm, which is why Wertheim Global developed Guardian. Guardian is able to monitor users and their activities in real time related to documents, activities such as printing, exporting, emailing, and everything you can think of that someone would do with a document. A first threshold is put into place on the user, and when that threshold is exceeded, it notifies the user's supervisor via email or text instantly. A second threshold is met when the user exceeds a threshold again. The user is immediately disabled. Guardian is currently on the price list with OpenText for one of their platforms known as eDocs, and is currently under development for another program such as Content Server. Wertheim Global only hopes to keep developing Guardian for other platforms such as SharePoint, iManage, and much more. With Guardian, everything runs on servers. The eDocs platform is connected to a centralized set of servers that contains the database, documents, and methods of connection. Guardian sits on top of the database in order to monitor for unauthorized access. Guardian has three components. The SQL component is used to monitor what users are doing and when they interact with the document management system. To explain further, when a user retrieves a document, a history of what they did is recorded in an activity table. Guardian monitors those activities in the table. The second component is the service. The service interacts with the process that allows users to access the document management system. For example, when a user exceeds a threshold that requires the user to be disconnected, it sends a signal to that service, then disconnects the user. For instance, if the user is connected via the web, the service will inform the web server. If the user is currently exporting documents on their smartphone, the service needs to be able to send the signal to whatever server the smartphone service is using. The third component is the front-end application, which is used for configuration. This is what the end user sees on their computer. Configuration includes who the user is, what activities a supervisor might want to monitor, such as documenting, exporting, printing, etc. An example of the front-end application configuration process is a manager needs to set up thresholds for a user. For example, user X is set up from the manager that there's a threshold of 100 documents in one day that the user can print. If the user prints exactly 100 documents, the manager is sent via email or text of whichever one of their choice a notification that the user has met the threshold. Let's say the user goes back in and prints one more document exceeding the threshold. Their manager is notified. And if the user exceeds it again and prints another document, the manager is notified and the user is immediately disabled. There are two options. The manager can choose to leave the user disabled, or if there is no malicious activity being involved, the manager can go back in and reinstate access for the user to continue on with their activity. What we're viewing right here is Guardian, the front-end application. This is what the managers will be seeing on their end when they want to set up a rule for a user under their supervision. So basically, Guardian comes in different hierarchies. We have the global library rules, which applies to more than one group. For example, if you want it in the whole company, this would be a library. We have global group rules. This applies to a specific group, such as HR or accounting. Then we have the global user rule, which applies to individual users. You can set different rules for different users. So up here, we have a rule set for the global library, in which we have a checkout rule, and this can be changed to anything on the activity table. If you go here, you can do it for editing, printing, archiving, deleting, etc. Anything that has to do with a document. And if I haven't mentioned it before, this is the eDocs version, and currently Content Server is under development, but it will work very similar. So the rule that we have for demo purposes is the checkout rule. Basically, now within 1 hour, if anyone within that library checks out 3 documents, it will send a notification to any email or phone number listed here, and it's separated by comma delimiters. And then after 5, it's going to disable the user. So let's just go and check out 3 documents and see what happens. Here's some test docs. And let's check out. Okay, now I should have gotten an email to that test email, and here it is. So it comes instantly. Here it is. I'm sorry, that was the wrong email. So here it is. So it did come fairly quick, within the minute. It says the time and the date, what documents the user checked out, and how many. Let's say I go in and do 5. So I'm going to go and do another 3 just to get over that threshold. Okay. And here it is, and it says the user has been disabled. Document count 5, so they met the threshold, and at that threshold the user's been disabled. So if we want to go here and see the disabled settings, we click here, and to unlock the user, and if they weren't doing anything malicious, you just click unlock and they'll be able to continue on with the work that they've been doing. So this is very customizable. As I said, you can change the activity in regards to the documents to anything that you wish to put a threshold on, whether it's creating a doc, editing, printing, etc. You can do the start date here, period. So if they check out 3 within the hour, it'll notify you. If they check in 3 within a day, then it will notify the manager. So you can set the period, and here you can change the numbers, you can change the actions, and you can add as many emails or phone numbers for notification purposes as need be. When analyzing competition, there are 2 types of competitors. Competitors that have solutions that work on the eDocs platform, and competitors that have solutions on other platforms such as iManage or SharePoint. We currently have OpenText actively promoting both Guardian versions because they feel it gives them a competitive edge. As Guardian, it's the only solution out there that offers real-time monitoring and disables users. Breaking down Guardian, there are 3 functions of Guardian that can be broken down into what competitors can offer. The first is competitors that offer real-time monitoring and just alerts, alerting a supervisor, for example, via email or text. The second type of competitor related to a Guardian function can offer the real-time monitoring, alerts, plus the ability to disable users. The third type of competitor are those that provide reporting after the fact. Firms that offer the first function of real-time monitoring are firms called EIM International and RBRO International. The function, however, to disable users is Wertheim Global's competitive advantage because no other firm offers that service that the company knows of. Other challenges related to competition that Wertheim Global faces is complacency. A lot of organizations believe that situations such as Edward Snowden or the Panama Papers could never happen to them. And it is not until it does that they realize they need Guardian. And it can be too late. It can affect the company financially, it can affect their appearance, etc. Another challenge is to explain to customers the price in terms of cost of Guardian versus cost of a breach happening to them. A lot of our customers currently consist of law firms. Some law firms that are big and known around the world are Hogan Lovells and Allen & Overy. Wertheim Global currently has roughly 70 clients. eDocs is on a smaller scale than the platform content server. Once content server is released, the customer base will be exceeding eDocs tremendously. For example, we just went to a trade show in July, and the company got interest on Guardian from content server customers. One law firm had over 500,000 users, whereas an eDocs customer has maybe 1,000 users. So the difference is tremendous, and it can impact Wertheim Global in a big way. Most firms have used eDocs for decades, and they remain loyal to Wertheim Global because of that. Most of our partners help us sell Guardian, and they currently only comprise of eDocs partners who want to resell our program as well as others that use eDocs. Not mentioned before is the fact that Wertheim Global is currently partnered with another company called Alexandria on the development for Guardian. Alexandria handles the development and support for Guardian, while Wertheim Global handles all other tasks related to Guardian, such as marketing tasks and administration tasks. When it comes to the cost, every sale is equally split into profits for both Wertheim Global and Alexandria. Costs to develop Guardian are broken down into 3 costs. The first is the cost to add various features and functions into the existing Guardian for eDocs. That is roughly estimated to $23,000. The second cost is to prepare the eDocs version and make it compatible to work with platforms such as Content Server. The estimated cost is $15,000. The final development cost is the cost to develop Guardian for Content Server overall, which is estimated to cost $92,000. These figures were calculated using Microsoft Project and the average rate for developers being $70 per hour and workable hours taken into account with this project. Other costs associated with Guardian for Content Server are marketing costs. The website is currently being redesigned, and that is costing the company $42,000. Guardian logos, branding, and trade show materials such as shirts or marketing giveaways to give away at trade shows. Last show we gave away their cell phone stickers, and they hold cards, so you can take it anywhere with you, and it says on their Guardian for eDocs. Stuff like this is estimated to cost $3,000. Attending the trade shows annually all around the world is expected to cost the company $30,000 annually. Thus, marketing costs are totaled to be $75,000. The first profit is made with OpenText, in which we have an agreement for OpenText to resell Guardian for both versions and have the revenue split between us and them equally. Other selling potentials is Wertheim Global can sell independently or have their own partners resell the product. With the partners get 20% of the revenue, and Wertheim Global splits the rest with Alexandria, as mentioned in the previous slide. The price list is shown on the next slide and will be explained further. Recently, the company attended a trade show in Nashville in July and spoke with numerous content server customers whose users exceed that of eDocs tremendously. Estimates of potential revenue is based on a current review of the marketplace, in which there are at least 1 million eDocs users and tens of millions of content server users worldwide. A well-known example of one customer that uses content server is Bank of America. So one can only imagine how many users would use content server for that one firm. In the past, the company achieved a 10% penetration rate for eDocs after release to market. A similar result is expected for Guardian for eDocs and a more conservative 5% for content server. Revenue for Guardian for eDocs in the first year was approximately $300,000 for licenses and $120,000 for maintenance. Revenue for content server is expected to be $600,000 for licenses and $120,000 for maintenance. These figures are again based on the price list that will be explained further in the next slide. Looking at the price lists, I'll go over two examples. The first line item is if the firm has less than or equal to 100 users, in which case we charge a flat price. They pay a one-time $6,000 for their licenses and $1,200 every year for maintenance. The next range of users is 101 to 1,000 users. For this, we charge on a per user basis. We charge $60 per user, one time for licenses. So if the firm does exceed in their license count, we would need to be notified to send them an invoice for additional licenses. And annually, if the users don't change, they're charged $12 per user for maintenance. To sum up the potential profits, the best case, which is also the likely case, is hitting that 10% and 5% penetration rates into the market, in which once revenues come in, the company will be able to self-sustain Guardian and won't need funds to do so anymore. It will be self-sustaining based on revenues that we receive for ongoing maintenance from our customers. The worst case scenario is we don't make any Guardian for content server sales because it's a new product. No one buys the product and the company is at a loss and has to come up with the difference with just the Guardian for eDocs sales, as we already have that product on the market and know that we can make sales with that. Given the high demand for products such as Guardian and the advantages of the program, such as being able to prevent cases such as Edward Snowden, the chances of success are great. Another success factor is the Wertheim Global team. We only hire developers that have years of experience, as well as the CEO and Alexandria have been partnered with OpenText for decades. Loyalty and family is a big factor in the success of Guardian. OpenText, as well as the eDocs family, have been around for years. Wertheim Global has grown with these people, and they have our backs, and the clients that we have gained always renew maintenance. They are very, very loyal. We hope that the same results continue on with the content server platform that we have seen with the eDocs platform, as the eDocs customers haven't left eDocs for decades. Another factor for success is cash flow. Wertheim Global relies heavily on annual maintenance to be able to survive and to help fund Guardian for content server, as well as future versions of Guardian for eDocs. There are a lot of risks that the company faces when it comes to developing a new software such as Guardian. One is competition and the fact that other companies could develop a similar program to Guardian. How Wertheim Global plans to mitigate that risk is by partnering with OpenText. We already know that OpenText does not partner with any other companies that sell the same type of solution. And OpenText is a multi-billion-dollar company, so it's a huge advantage that they want to support the program Guardian. Another risk is potentially the development of more platforms. What Wertheim Global can do is make sure to continually enhance and upgrade Guardian for eDocs and Guardian for Content Server, and standardize the look and feel of those, and develop more in the future for platforms such as SharePoint and iManage. That leads into the next risk, which is the potential sunsetting of eDocs. There are various rumors of eDocs potentially dying out because it has been around so much, and they are experiencing problems such as keeping their interface modern, and there's a lot of other document management systems out there that companies can go to if they want. And that is exactly why Wertheim Global is hoping that content server takes off and that they want to develop more platforms for Guardian, such as SharePoint and iManage. As mentioned before, Guardian for eDocs is already rolled out and on the price list. We enhance it when needed, when new versions of eDocs comes out. For example, eDocs 16 recently came out, and Wertheim Global had to make appropriate changes for Guardian for eDocs to work. The timeline for Guardian for Content Server is shown in the slide. The prep includes moving triggers into a service, testing for issues, fixing any issues found, retesting to make sure the issues don't happen again, and documenting things such as manuals. This process was already completed end of September, so Guardian for Content Server is already on a good timeline. The next phase is testing the system for the content server platform. Wertheim Global reached out to various customers that attended the trade show back in July that were interested in being a part of the Guardian for Content Server focus group. This group will be heavily involved in the testing and design process for content server. The process of the whole design is expected to be completed in the first quarter of 2017. To create any updated versions of both content server and eDocs takes about a month to complete. Wertheim Global only hopes to create more versions of Guardian to work on other platforms. The likelihood of Wertheim Global implementing Guardian for content server is highly likely based on historical facts with Guardian for eDocs. With the proper team and knowledge put into place, content server will yield the same, if not better results.